Hey guys, due to popular request, I'm doing another Burning Abyss test hand video. I got really positive reviews from my previous one, so I'm very happy about that. Thank you guys for watching and liking the video and commenting. It really means a lot. So here we're going to do 2 to 3 hands, and we're going to direct them at a certain matchup. So we're going to do probably the 3 most common matchups nowadays. So we're going to do Orcust, Sky Striker, and then we're going to do a Thunder Dragon. And this is going to be pure Thunder. Let's make it combo Thunder. So in the Orcust, we want to set up a Abyss Dweller plus a Fossil Diner. And possibly a Nat Beast, but it's not essential. Against a Striker, the main goal is for a Nat Beast. And then possibly a Dweller as well, just to make sure that Area Zero can't get any advantage, or any of it. If they're playing the True Draco version of it, they can't just rip apart my board. And then maybe I have a match just to make sure they can't out the board. I think it's Thunder Dragon. We're going to end on a Fossil Diner, backed up by a Avamax and Block Dragon. So it can't be destroyed by card effects over battle. And try and hit for the Dweller as well. So all these 3 matchups will lie in the graveyard in some shape or form. So in these 3 to 4 hands, depending on how long they take, I'm going to aim for Dweller basically every time. So here's our opening hand. We've got a Fossil Diner, a Gigantes, a Fiendish Rhino, a Glow Up Bulb, and a Psychic Wielder. So just as a overview of this hand is playable, but it filters to a hand trap or 2, which is very saddening, but it is still playable. So let's assume our opponent hasn't opened any hand traps. So let's normal summon the Rhino. We're going to special out the Wielder to make the Cherubini, which is nice since we got 2 Earths Engraved already. So here we're going to use the Rhino's effect to send a Graph. To then special out the Seer. Then from here we're going to use Cherubini's effect to send the Sabres, since we want that Glow Up Bulb engraved. So we send the Sabres. I'm going to shuffle and cut the deck. We're going to put the bulb back to the top of the deck and use Sabres effect to special summon itself. I'm going to overlay for Dante, and we're going to mill 3. So let's see what we mill. So we mill a Glow Up Bulb, a Burn Run, and a Sekka's Light. So not the best mills. So here we're going to Sekka's Light away the Gigantes, just to see if we can get a live card in hand. So give it a quick shuffle. Hopefully we draw Sekka's Light off of this. And we draw AO Lion. That's very rough. Ooh. So I think the best way to do this is just to use a Bulbous effect. I mean, mill a Gigantes. Yikes, this is not looking good. So in these pretty bad hands, you can still make a pretty good play. So what I like to do is, as long as I got the Dante and the Seer and any other monster, I tend to make Barricade Board Blocker. Then we use Dante and Seer, but instead of special out the Dante, we special out a Graph under the Cherubini, and we add the Seer back to hand. So here we have 3 Dark monsters with all different types. So we're going to make Curious out of this, which then gives us access to our Block Dragon. So we're going to send away the Block Dragon, and we're going to see what we mill here. Oh. I keep on dropping cards, so give it a shuffle. Cut. And we're going to mill 3, so mill a Tracker, an Alec, and a Mathematician. So that's 2 more Earths Engraved, which is nice. So with this hand we can't play for the Sky Striker matchup now because we've already used our bulb. So here we are going for, we've milled a Gigantes, so we can still go for Orcust matchup just to set up a Dweller and a Fossil Diner. So let's banish a Mathematician, a Tracker, and no, we won't banish a Tracker yet. We'll banish a Gigantes and a Rhino, just in case we draw into a Hydroland at any point. So then from here we're gonna make a. Oh, this is tough here because if I play the Appaloosa, I'll make the Appaloosa for 2, search 2 off a Block Dragon, but then we can't use the Sage Special Summon. Oh, this hand's a bit rough, it really is. So we use the Bulb, we use the Sabers. So here, the best way forward is to make the Cerberus. We use Block Dragon's effect to search, so we're going to search for a Rock Spirit and a Gigantes. So we really have a choice here. So we've got 1, 2, 3 Earths and Graves, so we can special up Block Dragon again, but we can't do too much after that. We can also summon these 2 to then summon Sayuja, and we use this effect to special up Fossil Diner once we've summoned up a Block Dragon, which is okay, but it's not the best again. I feel a better play here is just to make a Sayuja to get the summonable Fossil Diner. So we'll banish a Wielder and Tracker to summon out Gigantes and Rock Spirit. And this is why I like playing 2 of each. So if you only play 3 Gigantes, you can't do this play because you won't be able to make Sayuja with the same names. Just to make sure we only have 1 more Earth and Grave. So from here we're going to make a Sayuja. Then we're going to banish 1, 2, 3 for a Block Dragon. Then we're going to use Effect of Sage just to special summon Fossil Diner. So this wasn't the best. It still has a Fossil Diner lock with a Block Dragon, which is nice, which means that your opponent has to go for a battle phase to out the Fossil Diner. Or if they open up if they draw into impermanence, and that is also another out. But against some decks, this can just win you the game, since next turn you're going to have enough damage just to push through. You're going to draw into a Sekka's Light, which is very nice, so we draw another 2. You draw into a Rhino, which you can just normal summon for free. And that's another 1400 beta just to put more damage on field and just to push through anything what they set up. Against any control deck, this is very subpar. Most control decks can get around a Fossil Diner. Things like Guru, they don't care about it. It's more of a help for them because it slows your own strategy down. But any combo deck will struggle in some shape or fashion to out the Fossil Diner. So we're going to move on to the second hand here. Hopefully we have a little bit more luck with it, because the first hand was playable, we needed some good mills to make it a good hand. So let's just rearrange that extra deck. So let's put this back. Only at 9 minutes, so we should be able to get 3 or 4 into this video. Let me know how long you guys like the videos, because I don't mind doing 40-minute videos if it helps people learn the deck better. I do some in-depth sort of theorizing with it. Just like in the Sayuja thing, I could have just went into Sayuja and then just made the video a lot quicker. Or would you like me to talk through my reasoning for some things, to try and shed some insight on what my thought process is with each play. I'm dropping cards all over today, so a little bit more shuffling. Do a final cut to mimic the opponent. So let's see, we've got a Hat Tricker, a Block Dragon, a Wielder, a Gallus, and another Block Dragon. So in this hand we need the Gallus to hit, which is 95% guaranteed. It's not the best hand ever, again, because we only have these to make the Cherubini, but we'll see what we offer Gallus. So we hit the Rhino, which is absolutely amazing. So with this Rhino we're going to send the Sabres. This makes the hand so much better in this case, because it puts another Earth in the grave for Block Dragon, and we also don't need to, we can send the Graph off of the Cherubini to summon out the Seer. So it's a free, it's just a free extender. So we make the Cherubini. We also burn our opponent for 600. Always keep track of that because it does add up if you do use multiple Gallus in one turn, or if you hit like a Block Dragon, which is 1600, which can just win you the game in the long run. So here we got 2 Block Dragons, so I'm going to use the Sabres now. Try and shuffle back or put the Block Dragon to the top of the deck. Go use Cherubini to send Graph to then special summon Seer. What that does is it means that we won't mill that Block Dragon, at least we hope not to. So now we give it a shuffle before we're gonna make Dante and mill. And we always have the other Block Dragon in hand, so it's fine doing this. I always recommend doing this if you open up things like Orion or bricks you'd rather keep in deck, or even just Fossil Diner if you want to just search it later on, if you know you can. So we give it a good old shuffle, make a Dante, we're going to give it a final cut quickly. Going to detach the Sabres and we're going to mill for free. So mill the Block Dragon again, sadly. A Calcab and a Farfa, so not the greatest. So here, I feel the best play forward is to banish a Block Dragon, a Gallus, and a Rhino. Turn something like this other Block Dragon from hand. Special this Hat Tricker, and then just make the Sayuji. If you have a impermanence here, you do struggle a lot, but let's just hope that we don't. So we use Chain 1 Sayuja, Chain 2 Block Dragon, Chain 3 Seer, Chain 4 Dante. So here we have a few choices. If we feel that the matchup requires a Beatrice, we'd summon the Dante with a Seer. But if we don't feel that it would be needed much, we can then summon out the Cherubini, which then is a dark target, so we can make cures with it a lot easier. But I feel that I always want to end on a Beatrice because it doesn't feel like Burning Abyss without ending on a Beatrice at least once a match. So we're going to summon out the Dante, add back the Seer. Then we are going to search for Gigantus and a Fossil Diner. So here I'm going to try and aim for a board to beat Orcust. So I want to end on a Fossil Diner protected by a Block Dragon and Avamax backed up with a Beatrice. That is the end goal here, at least. Let's see if we can make it. So we draw 4 Sayuja, so we draw a Lion, a Sea Archiver, a Giant Rex, and a Sekka's Light. Okay, so first of all we're going to put that for a Lion and a Sea Archiver, because they're pretty dead at this moment in time. Since we haven't used a Sekka's Light, we're definitely keeping that. So we're going to put back a Gigantes for now, because we can get a level 4 with Giant Rex. Put them to 3 to the bottom. Go use Sekka's Light to draw 2. So we draw a Hydrolander and a Libic. Okay. Hydrolander is live at this moment in time, so that is great. What we're going to do is we're going to use Sekka's Light to shuffle back the Libic, because we don't need it in this situation. So we can search another Earth maybe, or get the Gigantes back. Or maybe another Hat Tricker, which would be very nice. So give it a shuffle, give it a quick cut, and we draw a Gigantes, which is nice. So that gives us another Earth. So with So let's use a Hat Tricker, the Wielder and the Giant Rex to summon that Block Dragon from grave. Then Rex will trigger to special summon itself. So now we have exactly 5 monsters in grave. We're going to summon out the Hydralander. We're going to use this effect to mill 3. So mill an Alec, a Barbar, and a Rhino. Sadly, we have nothing too major. We're going to use Hydralander's effect to pop up or destroy the Block Dragon, but because it's effects, it stays alive. So we're here, we're going to we have a few options here, but I feel the best way forward is to banish the Rhino, summon out the Gigantos to make the Abyss Dweller. So the Abyss Dweller is now on 2k. Let's get some dice just to show what's being boosted. So this is, and this is right now. In hindsight, better if you're going first, always best to put your Block Dragon in defense just to be safe. So now we're going to pitch for Seer to then summon out Beatrice on top of Vedante. That is also gaining 300. And then from here, I feel that the only way forward is to use Saijo to summon out the Foster Diner. So from a semi-subpar hand, you can still end on almost like an unbreakable board, especially for the Orcust and the Thunder Dragon matchup, because we have a Hydralander which is currently live, so we'll see if it's still alive afterwards. We currently have no duplicates. We only have a Burning Abyss in grave, which is always nice when you have a Hydralander. So when you mill 3, you mill a Hat Tricker, a Lion, and another Block Dragon. So we're going to have a non-target pop with Hydralander. We're going to shut off all the graveyard with Abyss Dweller. We can use Beatrice to then send... I'm trying to think, we already sent the Alec and the Farfar. So I feel in this situation we'll just send the Bulb just for plays once they remove the Fossil Diner, because some decks can just push through this, which then gives us plays to make extenders for next turn, which is nice. And then Fossil Diner protects you from being OTK'd, because the only way of getting out of Fossil Diner without using a battle phase if they have a form of negation such as like Forbidden Chalice or Impermanence or maybe Dark Cooler no more. So in those situations I always like to use Abyss Dweller in the standby phase just to be safe. You do get them occasions where they might just dwell Impermiss once you use it in the standby phase. So game 1 I wouldn't recommend it, but game 2 and 3 when your opponent knows that you're going first, it's always a idea to use this in the standby phase, because against Orcust sometimes they can play through a Dweller, but sometimes they really need their graveyard, so that you can make them choose between either being able to special summon or to use a graveyard, which most of the time you're going to let this through to then negate this. So then that is a pretty nice board against Orcust. So let's shuffle up quickly and let's get you another hand. So the hand I'm going for now, I'm going to primarily go for the Sky Striker. Say your opponent, like if your opponent accidentally shows you that we've got a Kagami in the extra deck. So you got a hunch that they're playing Sky Striker at this point, or they're at least playing Sky Striker cards. So for end board, what we want to do is end on a Dweller and a Nat Beast, and then anything extra is just a bonus. So we'd like to end on maybe an Abramax on top, just to make sure that they can't just ulti chaos, which they won't anyway, but it's just that extra layer of protection. Especially if they're playing the True Draco version, since Dweller is a very big problem for them, because they can't get any of their destruction effects from their spells and traps. So here we're going to rearrange the extra deck another time. So now we're going to give it to opponent to cut one more time, and we're going to draw a Lion. Sadly, we've got a Libic, got a Birdman, got a Sekka's Light, and we've got a Mathematician. So here we're going to use Sekka's Light straight away. Going to draw a Block Dragon and another Block Dragon, sadly. We don't like duplicates, but we need that aligning in deck so we can send it with Mathematician. Gonna shuffle. Gonna give it a cut. Then we're gonna draw. We drew a Hydralander, which isn't that bad here. So here we're gonna use Mathematician. We're going to send that Lion, which we just put back in deck, which then gives us a token. Now this token's level 3, so you can make Cherubini with it, which is very nice. Excuse me, needed a drink. So from here, with the hand we're looking at, a few plays may be a bit rough, but we just have to see what we get from the Dante Mills, because this hand is definitely playable. It is a little bit above subpar, but it's just not ideal, let's say. So we're going to use Cherubini to get that extra Earth Engrave by sending the Rhino Warrior, if I can find one, which then will send a Graph, which then will summon the Seer. So here we've got the Libic, so what we can do is just special summon that. So we just special summon that there. Gonna make a Dante, and we're gonna mill for 3. So let's give it to opponent to cut. And we're gonna mill a Rock Spirit, a Gallus, and another Rhino Warrior, sadly. So here we get rid of 1, 2, 3 to summon our Block Dragon. Then from here we're gonna summon out a Hydreinder just to get a few more mills. So we're going to use Hydreiner's effect to mill Mathematician, a Calcab, and a Barbar. It's not very nice milling more milling more BAs. So in this situation, what I'm going to do is going to use Birdman's effect to bounce a Hydreinder back to hand to then special summon it again. And because Hydreinder is a soft once per turn, since it's now cast as a new copy of the card, you can now use it as a mill effect again. So we're going to mill a Giant Rex, a Bulb, and a Skarm. So this Sky Striker hand looks so much better now due to that second mill. So here we're going to go and link into a Sayuja. Birdman does get banished, sadly. So we make this Sayuja. So we're going to do Chaining 1 Sayuja, Chaining 2 Block Dragon, Chaining 3 Seer target Dante, Chaining 4 Dante target Seer. Add the Seer back. I'm going to search 2. So here, I would still go for a Fossil Diner, just as an extra precaution, just in case that they need the Ray to summon to then go into a Hyate to out the board. But I feel that we can still get to the Nat Beast and Abyss Dweller quite easily with this hand. So we shuffle up, cut the deck. It's feeling very thin at this moment in time, so hopefully we draw 1 or 2 more extenders. So we draw into a Wielder, a Tracker, Sabers, and another Second Light. So since we already used Second Light here, we're going to put it back. We already have a Block Dragon Engrave, so we don't need that. And this is very tricky. Oh, apologies, forgot to summon out the Dante again. So we're going to summon it over here. So I'm going to say we're going to put the Sabers back, because we can use the Earths for Block Dragon at the very least. So here we're going to use Globul's effect to then mill the top card, which is a Mathematician. So we banish 1, 2, 3 for the Giant Rex, for the Block Dragon, which then summons out with Giant Rex. And that will allow us to make the Nat Beast, so we are 1 step closer to our target board. So that is also getting a boost by Sayuja. So here we have a few options. Depends if we want to use a Sayuja or not, or the Hydreinder or not. Because what we can do here is we can summon a Cerberus, summon out Block Dragon 1 more time, we make an IP, then go into Alpha Max. This means that we can't make Dweller, but we end on Naturia Beast, Ivamax, Fossil Diner, and a Beatrice, which I feel is very strong in this situation. So it covers most of the bases. So I feel that is what we're going to do here. So we're going to use the Hydralander and the Scoldred, no, the Block Dragon for the Cerberus. And now we're going to use Gigantes to summon itself by banishing Earth. So we're going to banish that Bulb. Use Block Dragon to banish 1, 2, 3. It's sad to banish the Giant Rex without effect, but sometimes you have to get into situations where you have to use it. So here we're going to summon out the Masquerena. I summon out the Cerberus here because I do believe that we do need that one more Earth, because I don't want to be going into resources in my hand, because they're a lot more valuable using them from the hand. But we're going to see what we can do here. So here we make the Ivamax, which also gets the boost from Saiyuja. We're going to banish 1, 2. So we will have to use a Earth from hand, which is a bit sad, but still worth it to then get the Block Dragon on the field. Then we pitch the Seer, summon out the Beatrice. I'm going to summon it here because we want the Fossil Diner to get the defense boost, even though we have Ivamax and the Block Dragon here to protect it. We'd rather have it have a boost instead of Beatrice. So this also gets the boost. So an overview of what your opponent has to deal with. So against our Sky Strike opponent, or a deck that uses Sky Striker as an engine, they have to play for a Nat Beast, a Fossil Diner, a Crusader Ivamax, which was summoned with IP Masquerena, so it can't be destroyed card effects as well, a Beatrice, which can send a Farfa, I do believe. Yes, so Farfa is still in deck. And we also have Alex in the deck, so we can use either or. And we also have Block Dragon to protect our Fossil Diner and Block Dragon by card effects. So I feel that this board is very strong. So say if we just draw for turn next turn, we got an Alec. So worst case scenario, if it out one of these things, it can normal summon the Alec, it dies and it negates a card or a monster on your opponent's field, so it's like a Forbidden Chalice sort of effect. So I feel that this is quite strong with the hand that we had. Our hand was nice, it felt like it was 1 or 2 cards short, and luckily off that second Highlander mill that we milled a Bulb and a Rex, which made this whole board possible. A lot of this deck is down to RNG when you have bad hands, but when you have good hands it is all just figuring out your line of play. Because with some of the best hands in this deck, you can make stupid boards without milling much and without relying on mills, which I really enjoy. And I really like, since I've went down to 40 cards, I start seeing more of my extenders. It is a bit of a shame that I'm seeing more of my Burning Abyss monsters when I mill. But if you're going second, the Burning Abyss monsters do help just break boards. So like against a control deck, Millionaire, Calcab, a Farfa, and a Alec, which is very strong. Because you bounce back with back row, you negate a monster on the field, and you also banish a monster to the end phase. And that can just win you the game there and then. Since if you do it against Altergeist, which is this deck's one of the worst matchups possible, Farfa can then banish the Link Rebo if you are going second. The Alec can then negate a Silk if they have it on field. If they don't, then it's fine. We can negate any other monster if need be, or we can just not use it. And then we also have a Calcab to bounce back any problematic back row which we know your opponent has, or if there's any unknowns which you don't want to play through. So say if your opponent has 3 back row, your opponent has added Manifestation off of Hextia, and then set a Protocol from deck, and then proceeds to set another card. So if they do it in such a way where you know where each card is, most of the time you just want to get rid of the unknown, because that might be a Solemn Judgment, it might be a Solemn Strike, it may be something very strong which you can't play through. And it's always better to get rid of the unknowns, since you now, if you get rid of all the unknown factors, you can now play through your opponent's board more efficiently and more effectively, which then gives you a higher percentage to then push through the board, break the board, and then possibly kill them that turn. Especially since the power of this deck can just output so much damage in one turn. I remember in a tag team a few months ago, I was the fourth player, so I was allowed to attack first. I ended up clearing out one of my opponent's boards through 2 negates, and then proceeded to do 16k damage that turn, due to the fact that I had so many resources and my hand was very nice and my mills were great. I ended on something like Boar Sword, Beatrice, double Hydrolander, and then some other random cards, which was one of my highlights with this deck. It is so much fun. And that was when Snow was still legal, so that was happier times. So here we're going to do our last hand. There's Block Dragon, Wielder, a Lion, and Sea Archiver. So it's not the greatest hand ever, especially when you open your Lion. Archiver can be used from a hand, which is okay, which helps in this situation. But I do want to get rid of this and put it back into deck for later turns, or just to remove it, because we don't need it. So, in this hand we're going to play against, let's say Thunder Dragon. So we want to try and get I'm going to say a Beatrice, a Abyss Dweller, and a Avamax. So hopefully that we can just make that and sit on that, because Thunder Dragon has a tough time to out a Dweller and Avamax, since they can't really beat over the Avamax, and when you summon it with IP, it is basically indestructible for them, unless they do play the Dingirsu when they overlay two Colossus. But if you end on a Beatrice, you can then proceed to send a Farther to then banish from the Colossus, which makes the play a lot harder to get through. So here, let's just start off with the Gallus. So we mill a Mathematician, which is nice, then burn for 600. Gonna Wielder here, and we go into a normal play of Cherubini. It's so weird to then go from summoning Dante every time to then going to a Cherubini first. It just feels very weird to do. So we're going to Cherubini here. We're going to send a... Since we've already got 3 Earth Engrave, we're going to send Graf first. We're going to summon out the Seer. Which then triggers our Sea Archiver, which then special summons itself from my hand, but banishes when it leaves the field. But that's not a factor for us, because when you detach it for Dante, it does not get banished, so you can use it for next turn extendeds. So we're gonna give it a shuffle, we're gonna give it a cut, and we're gonna mill 3 off Dante. So we're gonna mill a Hydrolander, a Libic, and a Rex, which Rex is really nice in this situation because it gives us an extra monster on field. So here we're going to banish the Rex, a Mathematician, and a Gallus, to then summon the Block Dragon. Here we're going to trigger the Rex to summon itself. So in this situation we have a few choices. So we could make the Saija now and hope to draw into another combo card, or we can make a Cerberus and we go into a Curious to then send any card we do need. So we can send things like a Blow Up Bulb just to get more resources on the field. Send things like Edgem Sabers for another monster. We can just send more Earths for Block Dragon. So that is a play which is very nice, especially if you need the Nat Beast online. But in this matchup, I don't feel we need to. I feel like we have to focus more on getting a Dweller, Fossil Diner, and Beatrice and maybe Avamax if you've got enough resources. So here we're going to go into a Sager first. So we're going to see what we can draw into. So we're going to do chain 1 Sager, chain 2 Block Dragon, chain 3 Dante, chain 4 Seer. So Seer's going to summon Dante in the end column. We're going to add Seer back to hand. We're going to search Rock Spirit and a Fossil Dino. Then we're going to draw 4 cards and put 3 back. So 1 card I know I'm putting back is a Lion already. So we're going to draw a Barber, a Gigantes, Birdman, and a Bulb. So here we have a few options. So first of all, we're putting the Lion back for sure. We can put the Barber back because we don't need that. But we can also use the Bulb to make a Nat Beast if need be. I'm trying to think if there's a situation where it is better to do that. I don't believe there is, so we're gonna put it back to the bottom of the deck for now. So I can draw into something like a Second Light there, or a Hat Tricker just for extra earths. And Hat Tricker or Gas in combination with this card is amazing because Hat Tricker and Gas summons are not once per turn. And as you saw earlier in the video, you can also do it with Hydralander, which then just summon a Hydralander, uses effect to mill 3. Target something underneath Cherubini or a Block Dragon, or you don't target, you pop that card, and because it can't be shown the card effects, that's fine, it stays on field. Then you Birdman it back, summon it again, and you mill another 3 cards, which feels very good to do. So with the amount of earths we have in grave, we have 3 earths. So here, 1, 2, some of these 2. We can't end on the Fossil Dino, or we can end on the Fossil Dino plus the Block Dragon, or we can end on Fossil Dino and a Dweller, in addition to a Beatrice, of course. So I feel that the Dweller will help us more in this situation, because not many people are playing board wipes, or destruction effects, without special summoning. So here we're going to banish a Wilder for the Gigantes, then we're going to banish a Vex for Rock Spirit. Then we're going to overlay for the Dweller, which then gets the 300 boost. We're going to pitch the Seer for a Beatrice, which then also gets the boost. And then finally we're going to special summon the Fossil Dino in defense using the Sager effect, and it also gets the boost. So here against Orcust we're playing, we have to play through a Dweller, a Fossil Dino, and a Beatrice, which the Beatrice does have a Farfar and an Alexand. So whichever one we need can be done. And we do have a few resources for next turn, so let's just see what we draw. This is just a hypothetical, because we don't know what a game state is going to be at that point, but we draw a Cow Cab, so not the greatest. But I definitely feel like this board is pretty good against a Orcust or a Thunder Dragon matchup, since them decks don't really play enough outs for the Fossil Dino by itself, and then if they do draw like the impermanence, they also have to deal with a Dweller and a Beatrice. And Orcust doesn't have a big issue to deal with Pilgrim Dante when they destroy Beatrice. Or they're going to send it either with Dingus, so we can't trigger it. But I feel that Thunder Dragon's going to have a tough time dealing with it unless they open up the nuts, because when this goes to grave, we can add the Seer back to hand using the Dante, then pitch the Seer to then get a draw, and then Seer then special out the Dante from grave, which then gives us more recursion, which is very nice. We also have, if it out this next turn, and we draw into a Gallus, say we mill a Block Dragon using it, it's like 1600 damage there. It's a lot of damage for 1 card for burning. So we're going to Birdman it back, summon out Gallus, I'm going to mill a Hydralander. So this is just hypothetical, but that on itself is 3200 damage. So now they're on 4-8. This deck can make 10k easily. let alone 4-8. So Gallus is a card which you have to max out on. It is a card which wins so many games just by itself, just by small interactions using things like Birdman, or if you mill a Lion, that is card's been sent to a grave by a card effect, so it then summons up a token. So that Gallus has turned from just extended to a 1-card Cherubini, which is so plus. And when you put it in tandem with things like Birdman and Block Dragon, it makes a card so good. So that's going to be the video for today. There's another long one, so I hope that you guys like the length of these videos. If you want more concise videos, I'll try and make the hands only do like maybe 2 a video and do more in depth, or I might be able to just do 4 and then just speed through and then just give brief interactions about what my thought process is going through the cards. So thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe. It really means the world to me if this sees as many people as possible, because I do want everyone to get better at the game. I do want this game to get so much just more competitive, because my mindset is 100% just to be a good player, and the better the people around me are, and the better the people are in general, the more that drives me to become a better player myself. So in turn, the better I make you guys, the better you guys make me. So I'm going to leave you that little message for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.